This is Rivalry. We have Mom First Impressions only, she says. We have Rachel's If I Don't Win, Someone's Gonna Die Before We Leave. And Zachary, I Just Wanna Win. It's not fair. The game goes on.
Why might you consider life coaching if you're a homeschool mom? Today, I'm sharing 7 perspective-shifting homeschool coaching discussions I've had. If we haven't met, I'm Teresa Wiedrick, the certified life coach and homeschool mentor found here on YouTube and also on my website, www.capturingthecharmedlife.com. I'm here to help you shed what's not working so you can show up in your homeschool and life authentically, confidently, and purposefully. It's lovely to meet you. I'd love to hear who you are if you wouldn't mind sharing who you are and who you homeschool in the comments below. The first conversation I often have with homeschool moms is about, is she doing this homeschool thing good enough? We're all likely to ask that at some point in our journeys, whether it's early in our new homeschool days and we wonder, how could we do it good enough? Don't we need to be certified? Don't we need to follow everything that the local school is doing? Or maybe as we're moving into that 3rd, 4th year when we realize that everything isn't always working exactly as we'd like it to be. In fact, we're kind of hitting a wall and feel like we don't want to do what we're doing anymore the way we're doing it. Can we do it the way that works for us and our kids? Is that good enough? Or is it good enough to shift my entire approach over the course of years of homeschooling? I homeschooled my older kids a lot differently than I'm homeschooling my younger ones. Is that good enough? We all ask ourselves that question. If you're a human being, you've asked the question, is what I'm doing good enough? Is who I am good enough? That's usually the root of the homeschool mom challenge around the discussion about good enough. So this is the first reason, the first perspective shifting conversation that we might have in coaching to help explore why you don't feel good enough in your homeschool or in your life. We'll explore, where are these unrealistic expectations coming from? What are they anyway? And how can you embrace the fact that you are indeed your child's greatest advocate? You can join me in a conversation. Check for the booking link below, and we'll discover, how do you know you're going to be good enough? When are you going to be good enough? And why do you not feel good enough already? Or you could dive deeper on your own and check out the Homeschool Mama Big Emotion Toolbox that you'll find on my website. It's packed with resources to help you navigate those challenging moments when you're not feeling confident. A second perspective shifting conversation I have with homeschool moms is addressing a question around, I'm not feeling motivated to continue homeschooling. I'm not sure I should be homeschooling. What do you think? Let's discuss the motivation behind your homeschool journey. I often have a conversation with homeschool moms about their kids' motivation. I'm sure you can imagine how that might take place. My child is antsy, disinterested at the table when we're doing lessons, or in the way that I'm approaching it. They're pushing back. So the discussion of motivation is a common one in the homeschool mom realm, but sometimes the motivation challenge is because mom is not motivated. Knowing why you're doing what you're doing is crucial. Recognizing that you too are on a growth journey and you may not always want to continue doing the same things you've always done is also part of your homeschool mom journey. We'll explore questions to help you rediscover your purpose and help you find joy in your journey. The third perspective shifting conversation that I have with homeschool moms in life coaching is around relationships. Wondering if you have boundary issues in relationship, if you maybe need to bolster your boundaries in relationship, if you need to take a different approach in relationship to your partner, or maybe to your kids, or maybe to the people that are outside of your homeschool family that aren't in support of what you're doing. Join me as we discuss the importance of setting boundaries to help you feel like you can fully embrace all the things that you're doing in your homeschool mom life and enjoy it and feel supported by it. We'll discuss practical steps that you can take to bolster your internal boundaries so you feel more connected and supported in your homeschool community, in your relationships with your kids and with your partner. And for a more in-depth exploration of this topic about building boundaries for the homeschool mom, make sure you check out the podcast season dedicated to building relationships and boundaries for the homeschool mom. You'll find that podcast season on my website, www.capturingthecharmedlife.com. I also offer a Build Your Boundaries checklist to get a little more clear on what it is you need to do for your next steps in bolstering your relationships. The fourth perspective shifting conversation that I might have with you, and I have with many homeschool moms, is how do I live alongside my people, my kids, my partner, and still find time to be fully me? Living alongside others while being your authentic self is challenging for everyone. That is the conundrum of relationships, is you being fully you, honoring you, and also connecting with others, supporting them and being supported by them. That's the challenge of relationships. But we engage in relationships because they support us, because we can support others, so we can be in community with each other. Without fail, if you and I have a conversation, in a coaching conversation, I will always ask you about your Enneagram type. I'll ask you perhaps about your Myers-Briggs type, so I know how to relate to you. I know what is your core motivation, what really matters to you, and we'll discover together how your core motivation is also conflicting or coinciding well with the people that are in your life. Learning more about you is a way for you to get clear on how you're relating to others, what you're expecting of others, what you naturally are good at in engaging others, and what you're needing to grow in. You can build stronger connections with your family, with your partner, with your kids, and with your community. But if you want to take a little time away from your community, from your relationships, you can always check out the Homeschool Mama mini retreat. There will be a discussion about living authentically alongside others in that mini retreat. It's a free mini retreat, and you'll find the link down below. Whether you are a first-year homeschool mom or you've been homeschooling for years, this conversation point is one I have on repeat. How do I get time alone or have separate space away from my homeschool kids? I really wouldn't have believed it if someone had told me right from the beginning, you need to make sure to have time away from your homeschool family. This is your burnout prevention plan. It's at the top of the list of your homeschool mom burnout prevention plan. You need to leave by yourself anywhere on your own. And I would have had a hard time believing that one. I really didn't think that was necessary, nor did I want to do it. The whole point of me homeschooling was that I was spending more time with my kids. Quickly, I learned that I had to leave if I had an opportunity to leave once a week so I could head to the local Starbucks and get my pumpkin spice latte and pumpkin spice scone and write everything that was happening within my homeschool days. It was a lifesaver. It helped me to maintain a sense of, I can do this over the long term. If you're in a place right now where you feel overwhelmed, I wrote a book for you. The book is called Homeschool Mama Self-Care, Nurturing the Nurturer. You can find it on the big A, and you can also find it on my website. You can find it on Etsy at its cheapest, least expensive price. You can check out that book and also my Overcoming Overwhelm checklist. Out of this book that I created for you and wrote from my heart in my fruit orchard with the chickens pecking at my red toenails, I created an Overcoming Overwhelm checklist because that was my experience in homeschooling. I felt overwhelmed by the third or fourth year. Sometimes I hear people call it stress. Sometimes I hear people call it exhaustion. And sometimes I hear others call it burnout. For me, I felt like I was dealing with overwhelm. So if you're overwhelmed, grab the Overcoming Overwhelm checklist. The sixth perspective shifting coaching conversation I have with homeschool moms is about finding community, creating community, connection as a homeschool mom. I often marvel that we still, as homeschool parents, get asked the question about socialization, the S question, what even? Don't get me started. But I do think there's a concern that we as homeschool moms don't always get that connection and community, and sometimes we're the ones that are feeling isolated. We're the ones that need to address the S question. I can share actionable steps to help you create and build your homeschool community, whether virtually or in real person. But don't wait for connections because they won't necessarily come to you. You have to make them. You need to take initiative. If you'd like, you're welcome to join me in the Homeschool Mama Book Club, which is part of the Homeschool Mama Patreon support group. It's an online support group that offers you inspiration, encouragement, and coaching in your back pocket, and every Friday. And the seventh perspective shifting conversation I often have with homeschool moms is that they're not really sure who they are anymore, or they've lost themselves in a mom identity or a homeschool mom identity. They're so deeply down the rabbit hole of activities that revolve around their child that they forget who they are. Or they discover, as I did, that before I became a mom, I don't think I really knew who I was then either. As I've learned, this homeschool mom role does not last forever. They do indeed grow up. If you'd like to get to know you more and develop you, create time for you, possibly foster more creativity in your life, then grab the UBU checklist. You'll find that down below. And there you have it. Those are 7 perspective-shifting conversations I have with homeschool moms. If you found this video valuable, would you like and subscribe to this channel and share this video with another mom who would benefit too? Remember that you're not alone in this homeschool mom journey. That's why I'm here. If you haven't heard this recently, I want you to know that I believe you can turn your homeschool challenges into your homeschool charms. You got this, girlfriend.